Okay, thank you, Rick. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the May 12th, 2022 Historic Preservation Commission meeting. This is a regular meeting of the Montclair Historic Preservation Commission. Notice has been given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by posting a copy of the notice on the first floor of the municipal building and by sending a copy to the Montclair Times, the Star Ledger, and the Herald News. This is also being recorded remotely on Montclair TV 34, and you can also watch it on Montclair YouTube channel. If you'd like to call in, especially during our public session, public comment session, please consult the website where you can find the phone number. And I know there's a few people that are on tonight that Tommy's going to give opportunity to speak while we do our awards. So, Tommy, would you please call the roll?
Yes, I will. Good evening. Ms. Bennett?
Present.
Mr. Rooney?
Here.
Mr. Graham?
Here.
Ms. Rubman?
Present.
Mr. Hyman, Mr. Reimnitz, and Mr. Sweeney are all excused this evening. Mr. Burr?
Present.
Mr. Connolly?
Here.
Okay, that's roll.
Okay, thank you, Tommy. There is a change in the agenda tonight. We will not be discussing application 2022-10, the demolition of the structure at 95 Maple Avenue. That has been moved to June by the request of the applicant's attorney. So we look forward to hearing that next month on June 9th. What we are today is, May is Preservation Month. So tonight we have our preservation awards that we have been celebrating every year since I've been on the commission, and this year is no different. May Preservation Month was established in 1973 by the National Trust for Historic Preservation and is co-sponsored by local preservation groups such as ours. During the month of May, the Montclair HPC confers preservation awards to members of our community under 3 categories: bricks and mortar, preservation service, and preservation of the year. This year we have 4 awards to present, 3 under the bricks and mortar category and 1 for preservation service. As we all know, Montclair is blessed with a wide variety of historic structures and sites, from worker housing to grand mansions, with religious and civic buildings included. These awards aim to recognize the efforts of individuals and institutions who have demonstrated a significant contribution to preserve and publicize the historic fabric of Montclair. Please note, not all of these subjects were reviewed by the HPC. It takes a watchful eye of a Montclair resident to bring these gems to our attention. And please take the time and note what is going on in your neighborhood and throughout the entire town. There may be an award in progress for next year, when we hope to have become fully out of COVID and hope to have a full complement of awards. So up for the first award tonight, I have a Bricks and Mortar Award for what is known locally as the Buzz Aldrin House. That is at 25 Princeton Place. It is owned by Elise Moody and Jimmy Conley. This young couple who probably will not be joining us tonight because they're due to have a baby any day today now. They bought the Buzz Aldrin House last year rather, and they've really undertaken a great experiment in bringing the house back to life, really. So what they've done is they've painted, they've repaired some of the roofing, the stucco, and they did this really with great trepidation regarding whether the alterations would be insensitive to such a historic house. On the side, which is on the south side, they also added a door which gives them access to the yard and closer to the garage. This is a really great, really wonderful award to see, as I said, the Buzz Aldrin House in such wonderful, wonderful shape. And are the Conleys on and Elise Moody, are they able to join us tonight?
Elise is on. I made her a
wonderful.
panelist. So Elise, if you can hear us, if you can, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you on my end.
Oh, hi, I'm here.
Hi,
Hello.
how are you doing?
Oh, very pregnant.
We thought you'd have the little baby as you accepted the award. Okay,
Not today, but maybe tomorrow.
okay.
And
Well,
Jim
thank you
is
for
sorry
being
he
brave
can't
enough
be here.
to join us tonight. So new house, new baby. Wonderful.
Thank you. Yeah, Jim wished he could be here, but he had to attend something for work. So I just wanted to say thanks, and it's been a really fun project. So we're very honored.
Wonderful. Do you have any advice for maybe other people that are looking to invest in historic houses and restore them to the same level that you've done?
Oh gosh, it's something we had never done before. This was our first house, so we've learned a lot. I would just say prepare to learn a lot and ask a lot of questions.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much. And it really takes pride of place on Princeton Place. So thank you for being such wonderful stewards of this house. And we hope to see you, more of you in the future.
Oh yeah,
It's
we're
fun.
excited. We're excited to be in the neighborhood and just happy that everyone's happy with the house. We're really happy there. So we'll look forward to seeing everyone around.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Elise. Take care and good
Thank you.
luck. Good
Okay, thank you.
luck.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And Steve Rooney has the next award.
Okay, this one is another brick and mortar for 111 and 113 Grove Street. Do we have Steve Plofker, Willow Street Partners, or Paul Sionis on board?
I don't see them on. I was told, I believe Steve and his business partner were going to be joining, but I don't see them, unfortunately.
Well, I'm going to go ahead.
Okay.
Let me read a little bit about what the Brick and Mortar Service Preservation Award is. It recognizes the excellence in preservation and restoration of historic buildings, interpretation of architectural features and compatible design in new construction, and adaptive reuse of historic structures. Judging standards include architectural integrity, compatibility, successful adaptation or continued use of historic structures, quality of construction, craftsmanship, and/or technical excellence. This is a new building. The building, there was a strip mall there, an old car wash, and they tore it down and they built this really nice corner upscale commercial building, which enhances the neighborhood by using quality materials and simple details for interest to create this contemporary industrial look architecture. Overhangs surround the building using iron and to contrast the brick facade. Simple details add interest on the brick structure. The brick wall, wood fencing, and stone walkways frame somewhat mature landscaping. We appreciate design and construction which celebrates Montclair historic neighborhoods.
Okay. Thank you, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll go ahead with the next award, which is also a bricks and mortar award. It's at 88 Grove Street. I'll wait till Tommy puts up the picture because it really. Oh,
There it is.
that's the before picture. And there, if you could just magnify that, that would be great. Or put them side by side. Anyway, this is a private home owned by Jason and Laura Silver, who do not live there anymore. They've they're renting it, and they've moved to Keene, New Hampshire. But I'm just going to read what the nominator wrote about this. As I said, this is a bricks and mortar award. This is the restoration of an older home, a vintage home. And the owners have taken a forlorn and highly altered Queen Anne style house and returned it to its best self. They've removed aluminum siding to reveal whimsically shaped shingles. They've recreated the historic front porch. They've returned 2/2 windows and a welcoming entrance. And they are in the process of painting it in a polychrome Victorian paint scheme, which I think has one more color than what we see in this picture. The work has brought life and pride to a busy intersection in the heart of Montclair. And if you know this house, it's on the corner of Grove and Claremont, I believe.
Okay.
So again, this is a bricks and mortar of the restoration of an historic home. And we really appreciate efforts for people to work on these older houses and bring them back to life. So thank you, Jason and Laura Silver up in New Hampshire. Okay, Steve, do you want to take it away with the Montclair history?
Yes, this is the Preservation Service Award. This recognizes outstanding achievement in and support for furthering the aims of historic preservation in Montclair Township, including research, development, planning, advocacy, and local community leadership. Individuals, businesses, and organizations are eligible. The Montclair History Center continues to fill their mission to preserve local history and shares the stories of the people of the township who made it what it is today by offering virtual talks on various aspects of local history. The History at Home series offered 22 talks during 2021, educating the community to some well-known and some not so well-known topics during afternoon and evening hours twice a month, excluding the summer. The series featured topics such as architectural of Montclair Heights, architectural styles, local train stations, Bloomfield Avenue, South Mountain Avenue, local cemeteries, iconic houses, and the Nolan Plan, and images of the past portrayed in a magic lantern slideshow, plus some interesting stories of local population. All provided the audience with a better understanding of the many important people and architectural treasures centered in Montclair. Speakers included architects, historians, trustees, Montclair University professor, a curator at Yogi Berra Museum, and the township historian. The Montclair History Center offered an educational and informative outlet for their various audiences to combat the isolation brought by the pandemic restrictions. It's an incredible effort on their part. Is Jane here?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay. Can you see me?
No, not yet.
Okay. Well, don't worry about it. You can hear me. I'd just like to say thank you. It was as much a relief for us and an outlet for us as it was for the rest of the world. I think it's one of the very few things positive that came out of COVID for us, for anybody. And it's something that even though we are hopefully inching our way out of this, we will continue to offer to people because it's really great, gained traction, and it's a wonderful way to share history.
It is.
And I believe Helen is on as well.
Helen's in. I can't hear her.
Believe you're mute.
Mic on?
It looks like her mic is not active. There we go. Now it's active.
Unmute. Okay, here we go. Can you hear me?
There we are.
So Jane's the executive director. I'm a vice president of the board, and it is a big honor. And it was kudos to Jane for the idea to move this forward and for moving so quickly on it when the pandemic started. And many of us worked very hard on the presentations, including some of you here. Kathleen, we appreciated your presentation for sure on the Nolan plan. And it's in addition to furthering our digitized records of Montclair history, as Jane mentioned, it's really that sense of community that we needed when when many of us were feeling so very isolated. But so it's become quite a nice community and lots of new faces and lots of new information. And it's tremendous that somebody nominated for this, and we're so honored to be recognized.
And may I just add too that I'm shocked at the where everybody's coming from on it. I mean, we regularly have people from all over the United States. We've had people from Israel and London and California. And so it's really expanding our audiences in a way we never expected to be able to do. So thank you.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Helen. Are you continuing History at Home for?
Yeah, we're planning for the fall.
Great. Okay.
If you have any,
we will take the summer off, though.
Yes, taking the summer off. But if you have any ideas or know someone who has an idea that you think would be worth presenting, please, by all means, send it our way and we'll look into it.
And you might also mention that all of the topics are also on YouTube, correct? All the talks are on YouTube. So if there's anybody has an interest in viewing it later, they have the availability.
Yeah, so the best way to get to our YouTube channel is to go to montclairhistory.org, and there's a big red YouTube button that takes you right to our channel. And if you go to the playlist, there's a History at Home playlist. And I think, Jane, we have about 50 now.
We have, yeah, we've put together over 50 at this point. And so it's like anything you could be interested in, whether it's social history or architecture or
geology of Montclair.
Geology, we've got it, yeah, on there. And we started this out by just thinking to ourselves that it would be a few weeks that we were just trying to hold down or keep everybody's interest during COVID, and then lo and behold, here we are 2 years later and still going strong on it. So
this is
of course, we talked for years about recording some of these presentations we've done at our center in the evenings, or putting some of our walking tours into presentations, and we this pushed us to do it. So at least we did that. So
you did a great job.
We have a great record, and we've met a lot of really terrific people in the process.
Good.
Okay, well, thanks so much. Keep up the good work, and we look forward to the next subjects. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Kathleen?
Bye.
Yes, who's that?
That was me. We have somebody from Sionis who says that they can accept the award for 111-113 Grove. So,
perfect. Okay, why don't you put them on?
Jackson is now a panelist.
Jackson Bangs.
Yes. So Jackson, you're able to unmute yourself now, I believe. So if you want to say a couple words, I'll share my screen.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you very much. We really the Sionis team and the Willow Street Partners team really appreciate this award. I only played a small role personally in the building, but we really looked hard at buildings nearby to try to relate to the neighborhood, and we're really very happy with how it's turned out. So we wanted to say thank you very much, and we take a lot of pride in this, and we're glad that other people enjoy it as well.
Great. I just wanted to mention that Linda Cranston, the founder of Save Montclair, is the one who nominated this, and this is a terrific building for new building. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jackson, and relay our thanks to Paul as well. Thanks a lot.
I'll pass that along.
Thank you. Okay.
All right.
So there we go. We have our 4 awards for this year. And I just would like everybody to remember for next year, for 2023, Steve, we went over what the three categories were: bricks and mortar, which could apply to either historic older homes or new buildings, such as the one that we just saw, preservationists of the year, and also preservation service, and within that, there's a whole range of possibilities. So if anybody sees anything out there, please let Tommy know, the planning department know, and we will announce it at the end of 2022 to really start the application process going forward. So thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Keep up the good work. All right, next on our agenda is our minutes from April 14th. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Does anyone have any changes or comments before I make my comments?
I have none.
No?
There was just a little typo, I think, on Tommy, I emailed that to you, right? Let me see if I
Yeah, just if you could repeat. I know you emailed me about it, but
give me 1 second. I'm pulling up shoot. Oh, here we go. Yep. Page 5, line 24. It should just be the commission asked whether instead of the commissioned. That's all. Other than that, I thought they were very good.
Okay, thank you. I have a comment on page 6 where the last sentence, the board discussed and a motion was made to draft a memo of support for the zoning amendments as drafted. I would add by the planning board. The motion was seconded. So just add that phrase in there, please, Tommy. And then on page 5, I spoke with Tommy earlier today. Hold on. Paragraph, the second full paragraph and the fifth full paragraph, because there's a question as I read this, whether or not Mr. Conley, in the second paragraph, it says he stated the National Register nomination report excluding the western part of the subject property was a mistake. And then the fifth paragraph says he was unaware of the discrepancy between the National Register nomination report. So we just need to get that in
Great.
sync.
Yeah.
Tommy, can you put the minutes up so we can see that?
sure.
Thanks.
You know, my computer is being a little bit slow this evening. Bear with me.
While you're doing that, I'm going to turn my light on so I can see.
Okay, so we're on the page. This is the first paragraph she is referencing, and this is the other paragraph.
Kathleen, I remember a kind of like back and forth about this matter. So are you and obviously I didn't take minutes, but to me this tracks with how the thought process was going during the meeting, but you're saying that
No. What I'm saying is that on the second paragraph, he said, Mr. Conley said that the nomination report excluding it was a mistake. But then the second one said that he had been unaware of the discrepancy between the register. So, Tom, is that before you had written it? Maybe we just need some clarification on that paragraph.
Tom, are you on mute? Tom looks frozen.
Who, me? No.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm not on mute. No, I was aware of both maps, the one that showed up in the National Register nomination and the one that was on the township's website. And I knew of the discrepancy when I wrote my report, and then I was shocked when they brought it up that the property was not in the district. That's what started the whole conversation. I think right off, their attorney mentioned that when they presented.
So the fourth paragraph, would you suggest that we strike it because it's not correct?
I think it's correct.
Well, no,
Mr.
I was aware of the discrepancy between the National Register and the town's maps. So that statement is not true.
Which part, Tom? I'm sorry, I don't see that where it says you were not aware of it.
The line 19.
Oh, there it is. Oh, I
Line
see.
19.
I see. That he was unaware that this discrepancy.
But you were aware of it.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Should I just strike the whole paragraph?
I don't
I
think the
think-
whole paragraph, right? I think it was just you, right, Tom? I mean, so you were aware of it, but
Yeah.
you were surprised that it would exclude review of the home if we were to allow the
Right.
the two properties, right? If we were allow them to.
So it becomes a question whether we should strike that whole paragraph or rewrite the paragraph to say that he had been aware of the discrepancy between the National Register nomination report and the township's online maps.
I think we were unaware that we would lose review authority, right? Isn't that what it was that we were unaware of?
Yeah, well, that's what it came down to, but I guess the way the paragraph is written, yeah, I think that whole paragraph needs to be reworked.
Or eliminated, because
You could do that as well.
the recommendation said the discrepancy between the National Register district nomination boundary and the township's online should be resolved as soon as possible. So I would think that paragraph should be, just,
Sorry, I'm just playing around with the highlighting. I can just remove the middle portion of it and rework it.
to say that Mr. Conley discussed his preservation report stating that he had been aware of the discrepancy?
No, I don't think I talked about that in my report at all.
No, I don't think
No,
you should.
that wasn't in the report, but.
Okay, then that should be, then that whole paragraph should be stricken.
It's up to you guys.
What,
Let's eliminate it.
Okay.
just eliminate, I think just eliminate the whole paragraph, Tommy, because it clearly states on the second paragraph, you know, that there was a mistake on a mistake on the two maps, and then we follow up with it as a commission by making the following recommendation that also again noting the discrepancy.
Yeah,
Okay.
the whole thing is just odd to me that somebody would cut a property in half like that. You know, property boundaries are property boundaries. And you
Right, but that's
I
one
don't know of
property.
any other case where you just nominate a half of somebody's property.
Yeah.
But I think if we remove that paragraph, we'll be okay as to what was accurately discussed, correct?
Right.
Okay,
Okay,
it's gone.
Thank
okay,
you.
great. All right, so may I have a motion to accept the minutes with the changes that we just made?
Motion.
Second.
Second? Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. We have no resolutions. Is anybody on for public comment, Tommy?
There are attendees. Let me unmute everybody. Moment. Actually, all of the attendees are applicants or applicant representatives.
Okay, so if anybody is on for public comment, please make it clear now, otherwise we'll close the public comment session. Okay, public comment session is closed, hearing nobody in the audience. We have some committee reports. yesterday, the design review committee met for a facade evaluation before it comes to the full commission for 11, I believe it was 11 South Fullerton Avenue. So
6 South Fullerton.
6, okay. Very interesting facade, and they just wanted some clarification and advice as to whether this would be appropriate for the historic district. So it'll be interesting to see when it actually comes to us again. And that'll probably come next month, right, Tommy, in June, the next meeting?
I believe so, depending on, yeah, it should, depending on how
Okay.
quickly they can get me some. Actually, sorry, clarification, it actually is it's going to be a Board of Adjustment application, but it will come to the HPC for comment on June 9th.
Right, prior to, for recommendations, right. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Minor applications, HPC 2022-11, 218 Bloomfield Avenue, Keisha Franklin. We met, that was part of the group that we met prior to our last meeting, but there were some questions that Tommy straightened out with the applicant. And so that has been approved based on their modifications. We also had a meeting, a kickoff meeting for the grant that we're working on, which is the commuter in Upper Montclair. And I have a question for you, Tommy. Did they come in, Conley and Hickey come in with the boundaries? Did they establish the boundaries?
They did, yeah. They eliminated close to 200 of the properties to get the project within the time constraints and the budget constraints.
Okay.
That's
And
terrific.
so now they'll be,
it's mostly properties on the west and south edge of the district that were eliminated because it seemed to make the most sense geographically. And then the thought is that those will be part of a future surveying effort to complete the surveying of the district when we have more funds.
okay. So how many properties are they now considering for this grant?
It's about
What's the
400.
ballpark? About 400, because I believe there were over 600, correct?
There was just over 600, and that was just for the amount of money that we had for the grant. It was just too many properties and the time constraints we have.
Okay, great. Thank you, Tommy. The grants that have been completed, we're still working on. I'm still working on the estate section, and the other one for the design guidelines has been completed, and hopefully we'll be able to discuss that in June. Okay, are there any other committee reports? I don't think anybody else met between last month and this month. No? Okay. Old business. We have to discuss a return in person meeting, suggesting for our next meeting in June. How does everyone feel about that?
I'm okay with that.
We just had our first planning board meeting in person. It went pretty well, I have to say.
Okay.
Good.
And E?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so our next meeting will be,
But Chair, should we get confirmation from the others that they're comfortable with it first, just so it's unanimous? From
oh,
John,
that's a good point. Okay,
John, Jason, and
Jerry.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll
Tommy,
I'll
can
reach out
you
to
write to them
everybody.
and ask them?
Yes, I will do that.
Okay, so then Tommy will be in touch with everybody then as to where we will meet for the next meeting, which is June 9th. Okay. The other thing that we had started to discuss were changes to the demolition ordinance, and I've been advised to table it for now. We have ongoing litigation, and I just feel that it should, it's something that will be discussed in the future. Under new business, we have planning board referral application 2795, 189 to 191 Glenridge Avenue by the Essex Restaurant Group. It's a new 225 square foot addition to an existing restaurant. So Tommy, if you could start to share, great. And there we go. Okay, so some of the background. The subject property is a circa 1922 single-story, one-part commercial block building within the Walnut Street Potential Historic District. The facade features a central painted entry door and unequal frame multi-lit storefront windows set on a brick bulkhead. Brick piers separate the openings and support the brick wall and the parapet above. The applicant proposes to construct a small one-story brick addition on the west side of the building, set back from the facade. Tommy, could you go to the next page of that? I think we have a picture of the front of the building. There you go.
You should go to the next slide. This picture's a little old.
Little old.
Okay, that's what was the Crosby, what it was or will continue to be Crosby's?
We'll discuss that in a minute.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is the building as it exists today, and the proposed addition with a fence is to, as you're looking at it, to the left on the west side of the building. So do we have Mr. Banks here to speak to for the application?
Yes. Also here with me is Greg Delermo of the Essex Restaurant Group.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, so if Mr. Burr would swear in our applicant.
Sorry, I apologize. I
That's okay.
will swear in the witness. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you will give tonight is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. And before you begin, Mr. Banks, I just want to remind the commissioners that this is a planning board referral. So we will be looking at the proposed addition and changes to how it fits in with the proposed historic district, the Walnut Street Historic District. So with that, Mr. Banks, can you proceed?
Certainly. Thank you, Kathleen. I'll move through these first few slides quickly since we already discussed the building and where it is. Tommy, could you go to slide 3, please? Okay, so this is the proposed site plan. You can see the existing building that until the pandemic housed the Crosby in a lightish red color. And you can see the proposed addition in a darker red on the left-hand side with the existing the beer garden outdoor space behind it. So I'm here with Greg Delermo, who's the owner of the restaurant. And I'd like to, he's going to briefly describe what his concept for the building and the restaurant is and how this addition is critical to his operations. Greg?
Yeah, hi. Could everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I
Sorry,
was
Greg, do we have to
one of
swear
the
Mr.
owners.
Delermo in?
Okay.
Do we have to swear Mr. Delermo in, Chair?
I thought we did.
I thought we did Mr. Banks, but not
We
Mr.
did-
Delermo.
We didn't do him.
Okay, Paul,
did Jack.
would you please swear in Mr. Delermo? Uh-oh. Well, I'll swear him. I can swear him in. Mr. Delermo,
Wait a
do
minute,
you?
I apologize. I was just getting, my mute button was not working for some reason. I apologize.
I thought we
Working
swore
very
in the
well.
two. I thought we swore in two witnesses. I apologize.
Normally I do. I try to swear in as many that are going to testify on the applications that are available. And I will put my camera on. I apologize. But let me swear in the witness. Are you ready, Mr.
Yes.
Witness? Do you
Yes,
swear
I am.
or affirm to tell the truth about the testimony you're about to give?
I do.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you guys can proceed, please.
Okay, so at the site there, at the property, I plan on opening up the Maddox Steakhouse. Previously, it was the Crosby. I'm under renovations now, and with the steakhouse, I'm gonna be doing a pretty big wine list. So the wine storage room that we're proposing here is going to be very beneficial for me there, and also the mechanical room that's part of the addition um, is very important because right now it's on the left side of the bar, and it's very tight there with the bar stools, and my staff and customers can't walk by. So we want to just move it to the outside of the building.
Yeah, Tommy, could you advance to slide 4, please? Thank you. Perfect. So yeah, as Greg was saying, on the left-hand side, you see the restaurant as it currently exists. Any of you who have been there, you might notice that it looks a little different than it did in the past. That's because we've had some work underway during the pandemic. But that large bar that Greg described is remaining. And you can see on the right-hand side, our proposed addition, where we will be moving that utility room that's really impeding circulation off to the left, and building a nice sized wine room for him to store his wine in a climate controlled manner, which will really help make the restaurant work better. And as you can see, the addition is very small. It's approximately 225 square feet, about 25'2" by 9'2". Next slide, please. So this, some of you might remember, is what the building looked like a long time ago. This was it before, back in 2015, before Greg and his business partners at the time hired Sionis Architecture to help create the Crosby. And so I show this just because you can see from this how they've been good stewards of the building and how they've really worked to make it look better than it did previously. If you could go to the next slide, you can just see how they've replaced the mill finished aluminum storefront and the bright blue awning with a more subdued one. And all of that will remain the same under our proposal. We are not changing the main facade at all. Then if you go to the next slide, this is just the same thing drawn. Slide after that, please. So here's our proposal. You can see on the side a small addition. The top of the addition's parapet is below the below the eaves of the main roof. So there will be no modification of the main roof required. Really no modifications to the existing building at all, aside from construction of a new door and modification of a window next to it. We're planning on continuing the soldier course, the brick soldier course that defines the head of the windows around the addition to be consistent with the existing building. We're going to match the aluminum coping on top of the facade, on top of the existing parapet with our new parapet. And we plan to match the brick and the coursing as closely as possible. There will be one mechanical unit on the roof of the building, of the addition to the building. We anticipate that will be mostly screened by the addition's parapet. As you can see in this drawing, the addition will mostly be hidden by a fence as one walks by. That's an existing fence that was previously installed on the driveway in about the same location we're building this addition. or we're proposing to build this addition. We're just moving it forward, and that's to create an area where garbage that's in the restaurant's trash room can be taken out after hours and put behind a fence so that it's not sitting out on the curbside waiting for pickup the way it is now. We think that'll be much nicer for people walking by in the morning. And I'm one of those people, so I really appreciate it. So that's really the proposal in a nutshell. We're happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Before the commissioners ask questions, may I ask, do you have a photo of the fence as it exists today?
It's currently stacked against the back wall of the beer garden. I do have a photo that I could send to Tommy if you wanted to see it, but it's not very informative.
What's the material?
It's not historic. It's a black aluminum fence. It has 2-inch rails and 1.5-inch crossbars.
So it's not, you can see through it. It has
Yes.
spacing.
Yes, we're proposing to put a sheet metal screen behind it to make it opaque, much like we would for a standard trash enclosure. That back panel will either be black or dark gray.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll open it up for questions now. Steve, do you have any questions?
Well, you took care of the fence, so I don't have any more questions about that. The only question I have, you said this was a driveway?
Yes.
Does this have does the fire department care?
That's a good question. It's a very narrow driveway.
I
And
just was
given,
wondering about
yeah.
access to the back of the building.
The fence as it exists today would have made it very difficult to drive a fire engine. Well,
No,
they would have had to knock the fence down to get
They would
through.
knock it down if
They
need
probably
to.
would.
Right.
I'm not actually sure if they could have fit a fire engine down the driveway. It's only about 10 feet wide at its narrowest.
Yeah, it's just access, and it's not in our purview. It's just my.
Yeah, no, that's a not a bad question.
I think that it's, yeah, if you need it, it'll work.
Mike, do you have any questions?
No, I don't think I do. I don't have any questions.
And E?
Whoops, sorry, it's just getting late on. No, I'm good. Nothing that's within our purview.
Okay, great, thanks. So why don't we go to Tom's report, and he can discuss what he has a few points.
Yeah, overall, I thought the addition is compatible with the historic character of the existing structure and size, scale, and material. It absolutely works with the existing building in the neighborhood. There was a note on the site plan on the drawings that we originally received on sheet C1 that referenced a proposed 2-story addition. So I was a little confused, but I did speak to Jackson, I guess a few days ago about that. And I guess at one point there was some thought about an addition, a 2-story addition, but that was just a leftover note. I had a question about the existing parapet capping material. I guess that's capped with aluminum.
Yes.
Jackson, and there was a note on your drawings that you were going to use a cast stone coping for the new addition. So I was wondering if there was some kind of limestone
Oh,
for the,
yes,
that has been capped and covered by the aluminum. And I think you stated you were going to use aluminum in your, or
Yeah. your
You're
presentation.
right.
during
What
your
I
presentation.
said is inconsistent with what the drawing says.
Okay,
We Yeah, despite what the drawing says, I think our current plan is to match the existing aluminum.
okay.
I am not aware of cast stone underneath the existing aluminum. It may or may not be there. I've not been on the roof personally.
Yeah, I'd like to know, because maybe in the future, if somebody did decide to remove the covering of the existing, it would match better with a cast stone like you had said on your drawings.
Yeah.
That's just something to think about.
No, we'll certainly consider that.
And then my last comment had to do with the applicant should work with the HPC on any mock-ups for brick or mortar, or if there's any, I guess you don't have any proposed lighting at all, right?
No.
And that was it.
Oh, great.
I expect that at some point in the future there will be a sign presented to the minor applications committee, but that's a different matter.
Okay.
We don't have one at this point yet.
Okay, great. Thank you. So why don't we open it up for discussion now? Steve, what are your thoughts?
I think that the addition is consistent with the building and doesn't detract, and I don't think anybody will ever notice it's there. So it's fine.
Okay, great. And Mike?
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's designed well so that it's not noticeable. I mean that in a good way. I think that we should probably, though, make sure that maybe the design review committee should take a look at the fence. I think that's one thing that we should look at before final approval. But overall, I think I'm very comfortable with what they did there.
Okay, great. Thank you. And E?
Yeah, I've like the other folks been like really staring at these pictures, trying to figure out what would be particularly noticeable, and I can't tell anything. So see, I'm like, I need new glasses, so I was wondering maybe I'm not seeing something, but no, it looks all good to me. I think we would probably, folks wouldn't even know what happened.
Okay.
Okay, great. Jackson, can I just ask, you might have already testified to this, but did you do the original
Yes.
transformation? Okay, I didn't hear that, but you probably said that.
No worries.
Okay, there you go. Okay, great. So I think we're all in agreement that the proposed addition is compatible with the historic character of the existing structure and scale, size, and material. I do think that we need to have we need more information about the fence. So perhaps you could take a picture of it and just send it over to Tommy, and the design review committee can look at that, and how you propose to make it opaque.
Certainly.
And really how, I mean, you did testify that it will take up the entire width of the driveway that's there. Well, what's now a driveway, but I think we have to see how, what's to the left of that or to the west of it? There's a building, isn't there?
Yeah, Tommy, if you go down 2 slides, there's a streetscape elevation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's the former Montclair Autotop workshop.
Okay, I thought it was something like that, but I think if we see the fence more in relation to what that building actually is and what the fence will look like, that's something that design review committee can look at. That's not a problem. Right. And so, and I also agree with Tom that if there's for the proposed new materials and detailing, that we could look at that too.
in terms of brick samples and things like that?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea or concept of what you're going to, are you trying to match what's there or be
We have-
something?
We've not selected a brick yet, but we intend to match what's there.
Okay, so why don't we you can include that all with the fence information to the design review committee?
Okay.
All right, great. So Tommy, if I missed anything, are there any other recommendations perhaps?
That sounded like it to me,
Okay,
and I've noted them.
okay, great. So then you'll just be in touch with Tommy when you
Yes.
get, okay, wonderful. No, I think it looks good and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Delermo.
Yes,
Good night.
thanks very much. Thanks for your time, everybody.
Thanks.
Sure.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Okay, next up is the referral to the planning board. This is application 2799, 246 Upper Mountain Avenue. This is a bulk variance for a rear addition to a one-family dwelling. It's the conversion of a garage to a pool cabana. And we are reviewing this. We're reviewing this because the property is located on the west side of Upper Mountain Avenue, and it lies within the Mountain Historic District. The Mountain Historic District is a distinguished strip of high-style mansions built in a spectacular setting on the hillside slope of the First Watchung Mountain in the township of Montclair. This district is listed on the National Register of Historic Places, and it was created in 1988. And as I said before, the applicant proposes to construct a 2 1/2 story addition at the location of existing 1-story rear section of the house. The applicant also proposes to convert the existing upper level of the detached garage into a cabana. And Tommy, if you could put up the picture of it, although it's quite far from Upper Mountain Avenue, there will still be probably a sliver of, there you go, that somebody can see from the driveway. There you go. Okay. So whom do we have to speak here to this application?
Hi, my name is Matthew Johnson. I'm the owner as well as an architect. So
Oh,
thank you.
great.
So I kind of get one stop with me, and thank you for your time and hearing us out on this.
Okay, before you begin, Mr. Johnson, we have to have you sworn in by our attorney.
Sounds good.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well.
All right, so do you affirm or swear to tell the truth with regard to the testimony you're about to give this evening?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Johnson, you can just direct Tommy as to what you want up on the screen and just run through what you propose to do.
Yeah, Tommy, if you could just go back one to the site plan before the photos. So everybody on the right-hand side, you just kind of get the zoomed in area of our lot. Our lot is 375 feet deep, but just to zoom in, the structure that's labeled the 2 1/2 half story is the original family dwelling. And then you can start to see in the back, there was an addition done. There was 2 additions done, one in the 60s and then one in the late 90s, which is the single story addition adjacent to the deck. And then we have a detached 2-story garage. And so what our proposal was really just to take out the first bump out, and this is now looking at the left-hand side, is taking the original roof lines that were part of the 2 1/2 story dwelling and just bumping those out 12 1/2 feet. And that would allow us to have a better entry from downstairs and also like a closet in the master bedroom and the sitting room. And really what we were trying to do is keep within the existing architecture of the original house and work with the existing roof lines, because as noted, we have the 1997 addition was all hip roof construction, and just even trying to frame into that became a challenge. So we felt that pulling this out as the larger structure with the main roof line helped us keep with the character of the house, as well as provide a small covered entry back into the backside of the dwelling. And then we could get into the roof plans or the main plans a little bit later. And then as we go through the photos, you'll see that we have a 2-story garage, which is view number 7, I think captures it all. So it's a 2-story garage that was actually modified in the 50s to add the dormer, the dormers. And what that is right now is just a shell space. And we would like to turn that into what we call the pool cabana, because there's really nothing in the zoning to classify it. But as you could see from photo number 9, which is the right photo, it's adjacent right off our pool. And so really what we'd like to be able to do is not change the character of the structure, but add a restroom and a shower inside the dwelling. So the kids don't have to run through and ruin all the hardwood floors as they get to, as we all probably hopefully could relate to, because that's what they're doing right now. And then we could really activate that space for the future and for the kids. So as you can see from the photos, starting back to the main dwelling, Tommy, if you want to zoom out a little bit, we were really trying to keep within the existing sight lines of the structure, knowing that the views from the top are going from Upper Mountain from the west to the east, and really a slight view from the roadway in view 2. I don't think you'll see anything from view 1, or excuse me, from view 3. And then our neighbors to the east, which are views 6 and 7, you really, Tommy, if you zoom in on 6, right where your mouse is, you'll see, we could potentially see a little glimpse of that roof structure stick on, but again, it's in keeping with what is there. Okay. So Tommy, if you want to just flip through the next couple pages. So this is kind of an axon view, which hopefully tells the picture of what we're trying to do. Really keeping the lines of the existing structure coming out to create an entrance, an additional floor area for the upper master bedroom for a closet, and then just bringing out the bedroom that exists upstairs, just bringing that out a little bit further, just so all of those lines track as a simple addition. All right, Tom, if you want to keep going. And then you could see what we were trying to do upstairs. The plan on the right is the first floor, creating a proper mud room so that the kids don't chill up everything into the hardwood floors, place to put the coats and move in, as well as a pantry for the kitchen. On the second floor, really looking just to give us a closet for the master bedroom, and we call it, we have a reading room, and bringing up the laundry to this floor. Just as the kids get older, having everything here would be a benefit to the household in the running. And then Tommy, if you go to the next plan, you'll see that upstairs would really just be an extension of the existing bedroom, and I'm gonna tuck in a closet and a mechanical room into the eaves of the roof, and then really just pulling out the roof line as it exists. And then Tommy, if you want to go to the next page, which is the pool cabana, you could see here what we were trying to do. Really ultimately fitting it out for the kids as a family room, recreation room. But the real driver right now is getting that bathroom in, bathroom and a shower. I'll be clear, just so they could hose off as well. But that's ultimately the goal there. All right, and again, this is directly accessed. Just for clarity, there is no access from this level from the garage itself, from the front side. It's only accessible from the fenced-in area of the pool side. Okay. All right, Tommy, the next one. And really, the elevations are quite simple. Trying to keep in with the existing lines, some small windows to bring in natural light into the rooms that need them. Where we don't need them, I was trying to bring very focused, and really just kind of creating that entrance and covered porch with keeping in the character. Okay. And then Tommy, I think the last one is it's the south elevation, but again, just building on top of ourselves as we come forward. So everything's kind of grayed out. So that's our project.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. I have a question before we open up for the from the commission. Tommy, can you go back to the series, to the page that has a series of photographs, please? There you go. Now, are you saying, we're looking at this because there's a potential that that it's somewhat visible from certain vantages on Upper Mountain Avenue. Are you also saying that it's visible from, what is that, Highland?
So
Behind you?
the neighbor from the rear, just in full transparency, the neighbor in the rear from Highland, right? Their property butts up against us, and the photo, Tommy has a photo in the report where I think he's standing up a little bit higher in the view. But we do have neighbors to the back. It is not visible from Highland, but it would be the neighbor right behind me in Highland. When he's in his backyard, we talk.
Oh, okay. No, I wasn't clear as to the photos on like the pool, the back of the house, whether that was from Highland.
No, that's actually still from my yard. Tommy, if you want to go to page 2, which is the overall site plan, I think it gives a better context to our adjacent structures. So that's our overall site plan. You can see we have quite a deep property.
Yes.
And so part of the challenge is we're deep, 375 feet, but with the zoning of being 30% for our rear yard setback, we're within that. And so,
Okay.
Tom, if you go up one more, just for full context of our adjacent structures, you could see my site. I highlighted it in red. My neighbor, because of Highland, because of the steep slope, the people that live in 225 Highland and 221, we all talk because we all see each other.
Okay. No, for our purposes, we have to see, because it's in the Mountain District, we have to understand what, what we're viewing, where we're viewing it from, if it's two sides or just one side. And then again, on the proposed cabana, which you will see from the street from Upper Mountain, Tommy, could you go back to the montage of the 9 pictures or 12 pictures? There you go. So I guess picture number 3 behind that right there, that tree. Oh, so the garage doors don't face Upper Mountain, correct?
The existing
they?
garage doors do face Upper Mountain.
So you're proposing to remove those?
Nope. I'm proposing no modifications to the structure itself. I am proposing that you could see in photo number 9, there is a door off the pool, just a single man door. I'm proposing that we use that door to access the pool cabana.
Oh, okay. Okay, I wasn't clear about this. So, so the garage doors will remain?
So the garage door and the lower first floor of the garage will remain for its existing use of the garage, 2-car parking. The upper level is what we were proposing to convert into the pool cabana.
Right. Okay. There are no exterior changes to the garage.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. We'll open it up for questions. Steve, do you have any questions?
The only question I have, and it has really nothing to do with us, but is this, can be considered an accessory dwelling unit? Because it's got a kitchen and bathroom now.
It will not be. That'll be reviewed as part of the Board of Adjustment.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking.
And the report recommends a condition that it not be able to be rented or used.
Right. I have no other questions.
Mike?
No questions.
E?
No questions.
Okay, thank you. I asked my 2 questions, and so why don't we, Tom, would you go over your comments?
Sure, Kathleen. The first thing I'd like to mention, though, which I forgot to include in my report, is that this house is listed as a contributing resource in the National Register nomination form. And I don't believe that was mentioned before.
No, and I didn't see that. I looked it up on the viewer. I did not see that.
Well, you know, from the last meeting that what's on the viewer and what's in the nomination form don't seem to jive.
It's a
But
job. Okay.
in the map, well, you can't see that, but the map lists it in the key as a contributing resource, the property.
Did you or Mr. Johnson, do you know when the house was built?
So working with the museum, we were able to assess that it was between 1904 and 1906 is when the maps were, at least what we were able to find.
Right.
And then the only information that we were able to find was that it was built for, well, one of the first lots was named for Edward Townsend, who Edward Townsend was a congressman and the postmaster of town.
Oh, so the house dates from 1906, 1904?
We don't know. I don't know if the house was built in 1904 or 1906. I could just see on the like plot
Oh, the
map
land.
that
Okay.
that the lot was between those two iterations is what we were able to assess.
Yeah, that date jives with the style of architecture, the colonial revival style. That's the time period.
But Mr. Connolly, we never found that it was listed or not, and maybe it's, again, through your research, you might have other things, or like I did the same thing through the registry, through the viewer and the maps. But that's how I have the information that I have through the other local resources.
Okay. So my first comment was that the proposed addition is compatible with the scale and proportion of the existing structure. What they're proposing, bumping out the back, I thought was fine, and it worked with the existing building. And to get down into more detail, my second comment, and maybe we can look at the elevations on the west elevation, Tommy, if that's possible. The proposed pediment roof shape over the door on the south elevation should be eliminated. A simple shed roof at this location would be more in keeping with the existing architecture. Emphasizing the secondary entry to the building just doesn't go with the existing style. The front door has a pretty elaborate portico, and we're trying to emphasize a secondary entrance, which I think just a simple shed roof would be in more keeping. And my third comment again had to do with the proposed shed roof. The shed roof on the south and the existing one-story hip roof at the rear seems to result in kind of a complicated roof form. And I was wondering if you would consider reframing that existing hip roof. You stated in your testimony that, there were a number of additions put on this house, I think 2, right? And I think this third addition kind of just complicates all that roof, and it doesn't seem to work well in my view. So it's simplifying some of that shape. When you have a hip that runs back towards the house, just that shape just doesn't seem to work very well. And my last comment had to do with information on existing and proposed materials. There was no information on the drawings of what the detailing or what any of the proposed siding, roofing, doors or windows, railings or lighting, if you had any proposed.
Yeah, so the main intent is to, for right now, match the existing. We don't know actually what's under the existing siding, and so one of the intents of this project for longer term of us owning the house is to figure out and kind of pull away some of that historic fabric and find it, so that we could ultimately renovate in a larger in-keeping project.
Well, if that's your ultimate goal, then I would suggest, putting wood siding on the addition.
Again, just trying to keep all of the matching and, the blue vinyl siding that is there, that's ultimately our goal. So that we don't have mix and match and really
Just so you don't have to do it twice is what I'm saying, right?
But I'm gonna ultimately, I don't know if there's shingles under there. I don't really know what's there.
Well, you'll know when you put the addition on, right? You'll be able to.
And that's partly why this meeting really trying to establish the roof line and kind of the main pieces. But right
It
now,
looks like you have new railings and columns there.
Yep, and those we were going for composite, white composite railings, asphalt shingles to match existing, windows.
Types of windows.
Double hung sashes to match what's there.
What is there? It looks like there are replacements that were in the front of the house.
All the windows were replaced at some point in time in this house. They're all double hung. They're all vinyl, and we were going to go to a better composite.
That was all my questions.
Okay, so there's blue vinyl siding on the existing house. How do you how do you propose to match the blue vinyl siding?
We know exactly what the blue vinyl siding is. It's nothing elaborate. I can't tell from the history of kind of the permits. I can't tell when the vinyl siding was done, but I know it's still in production. I unfortunately can't do the whole house at this point in time. So we just want to be able to unify it and kind of pull those lines across.
Okay, so what our purview is to look at what, as I was trying to stressing, what is visible from the street. And I think that Tom's points about the exterior, the proposed exterior materials, because you do see, some of it from some of the angles from the street. So I think a consideration of a consideration of putting wooden siding on now to save you the cost and the expense, later down the road is something to consider at this point. Are there any other questions from the commission before we go into discussion? No? Okay. So Steve, what are your thoughts on?
Well, I think that this addition to the back of the building is not really visible for two reasons. One of them, it's a very long driveway, and you would probably never be aware of it. But I think it's in keeping with the design of the building. As to putting the cabana on the second floor, we'll never know that, but it's a nice addition to them.
Anything else?
No.
Mike?
Yeah, I agree with Steve. I'm not really seeing any negative impact to the historic district. I definitely see a gain for mom and dad. I have 2 kids, so I get that. One in that cabana. But I think overall the design's very, respectful of what's there already. So I am supportive.
Thank you. E?
Yeah, I have a question just about process. Like, as far as Tom's recommendations, I guess, like, are those don't have to be incorporated, right? About the shed roof, and unless we direct them to be, or how, like, what do we do with, I feel like we're kind of ignoring his recommendations.
So procedurally, Kathleen, if you don't mind, procedurally, what we do is we write a memo basically from the HCC to the Board of Adjustment with your comments and recommendations on the project. And then that becomes part of the project file that they review. And it say, you know, one of your recommendations is to abide by the conditions in Tom's report. They can see that, and then they can then make that a condition of approval for the variance.
Gotcha. Yeah, well then I would, I mean, I would recommend that we incorporate Tom's feedback.
Yeah, so what we can do is when we send this to the Board of Adjustment is send his report and say that we're all in agreement with the suggestions that he's made. But it seems that we're all in agreement that the proposed addition is compatible with scale and the proportion of the existing structure, and it fits within the nature of the historic district. That's what I'm hearing from everybody. And I think we asked the applicant for more information. We can ask the applicant to come back to, which committee would it be, Tommy? The design review? I can't remember. Yeah, design review.
Yeah, design review.
With the actual windows, with the siding, and the doors, so that we you know, have a chance to look at that from what's visible from Upper Mountain Avenue. But that's actually in Tom's report on number 4. So there aren't any other recommendations, though, aside from the 4 points that Tom has made, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay. All right, so then so Mr. Johnson, do you have any other questions for us?
No, I think it was all very clear. I appreciate everyone's time tonight.
Okay. And yeah, so I think I think it'll be a great project, and you'll definitely get a lot of use out of it. And make it very pleasant, and have a nice summer.
Well, I don't think the work will be done for this summer, but
next summer.
If I could show progress, I think you'll make the wife and kids happy. So
Okay, next summer. All right,
Yeah, maybe
so
we can come up as a board as to christen it.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, so as I said, we're generally in agreement with everything that you're proposing. There's 2 design tweaks that our consultant feels that would better suit the historic district. And when you finally decide on your proposed exterior materials, please get in touch with Tommy, and then our subcommittee will review. Then we can come up and look at it.
Very good.
Pool's still there. The pool's there already.
As you can see from, actually, I think Tommy's photos show the guys opening the pool. So the pool is now officially open. Still a little chilly as of last week, but
Okay.
there you go. If
All
you
right.
want to come look for it, we're here.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank
Looks
you.
like a great addition.
Everyone have a great evening.
You too.
Thanks for your time.
Okay, everybody. So it is just 9 o'clock. Do we have anything else to discuss? And if not, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
That was quick. Okay, all in favor?
All right.
All right, thank you, Tommy. Thank you, Paul. See you next month, June 9th. And
Yeah, and
thank you, Tom. And we'll see you next month, June 9th. And Tommy will be in touch with you whether it will be virtual or it will be in person at the municipal building. Okay?
Will do. All right, everybody have a great night.
Have a great night, everybody.
Have a great night, everybody.
Thank you, Rick.